Ciao.
So, bei uns geht's weiter mit einem Call nach Sweden zum Tim. Die haben eine App, wo du melden kannst, wenn du, ich sag mal, Sperrmüll hast, klassischen, in großen Städten. Und da erzählt uns jetzt der Tim mehr dazu.
Aber in Schweden?
In Schweden, ja.
Oder von Reutlingen auch aus?
In Schweden. Ich habe da kurz ein paar Stichpunkte aufgeschrieben.
We are live. Tim, can you hear us? I think you're still muted.
Hello there.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Great to meet you again. So
Thanks.
we are very eager to learn about your app, and I just read your company launched in 2016. So you've been at the forefront of, let's say, developments in that area, and your app is available in definitely in Scandinavia. You launched in Germany earlier this year, I think August, September or something.
Yeah, in the spring actually. Yes, earlier this year.
In the spring. And we're very eager to learn where your app is active. I know Berlin is a hotspot in Germany. Where are other areas? And we want to learn more about your initiative, and we want to learn about the areas. Maybe something in Bavaria coming up. Well, we don't know yet, but maybe we'll learn from your presentation. So if you have a presentation to share, that would be cool.
Absolutely. So, can you all see that now?
Yes.
Super.
So your stage, please, Tim.
Thank you. So, I wanted to share with you how the company that I work with strives to actually make some positive impact in cities with the help of the collaborative economy. So what is the collaborative economy? Most of you are probably familiar with this term, but there are a lot of definitions out there. And I figured before we get started, it makes sense just for me to share one, at least that I think rings true to me. So a collaborative economy is a marketplace where consumers rely on each other instead of large companies to meet their wants and needs. And these consist of giving, swapping, borrowing, trading, renting, or sharing products and services for a fee, or sometimes actually without the fee as well. And so who am I? And I mean, what's the story of leading me into this? So my name is Tim, and I'm one of 3 co-founders at this Swedish startup. And I have a background mainly working with digital business development with large and small companies. And before getting started on this startup adventure, I helped build the leading real estate marketplace in Sweden, which was hugely successful. But it was one thing constantly missing for me. I mean, I wanted to make some positive change in society. And at the same time, I was really fascinated of seeing these new collaborative platforms grow, like Airbnb and Uber, which at least at the time was a bit of a collaborative or sharing economy. And then I had the luck to meet these 2 other guys, and I learned that we all share the same drive to actually build something on our own platform for the collaborative economy for consumers. So we wanted to bring some innovation to the way that households solve their challenges with logistics around their homes. So if you think about it, there are a lot of things that you bring both in and out of your homes over time. It actually sums up to a lot of things once you start thinking about it. But that could actually be quite a challenge for some, especially those who have not so much time or who don't own their own car. So they can, of course, turn to professionals. And there are old school companies that do this. They're slow, expensive most of the time, inflexible. I mean, not really always meeting on the consumer's terms. It's time consuming actually just to arrange these to get this kind of help. And sometimes, frankly, it can also be a bit of an overkill. I mean, if you have some piece of furniture you need help moved, it will be maybe too small of a job for some companies, and they want something bigger perhaps. So what most people resort to is actually helping themselves, but that's also, of course, very time consuming. You would need access to the right sized vehicle. Even if you do own your own car, it might be too small. So you might have to rent a van or some other bigger car. Also, if you are moving something big, you might actually need an extra pair of hands just to move things, basically. So our solution to this is Tiptapp. Tiptapp is an app that works as a marketplace where users get connected, so households can actually find other private individuals to get help with instantly getting a ride or hitch a ride for things they need moved or delivered or actually removed for recycling. So here are some of the use cases, some examples of how it's being used. So starting from the left side, this is a case of someone needing something they purchased on eBay, delivered to their home, so they need some help for transportation. The second thing is someone actually wanting someone else to get help to buy stuff at IKEA and deliver it for them to their house. And in the third example, we have a recycling where someone needs to get rid of a lot of cardboards and plastics and have that taken to a recycling center. And the last example here is someone wanting to get rid of a training bike, which they are giving away for free, so someone else in the community nearby could actually pick it up. So how it works is really simple. I mean, you would add an image and a short description of what you need kind of help with, and you decide yourself how much you would like to pay to get this kind of help. And you would be able to select among other people offering their help. So you can browse through their ratings and their stats and get a sense of what time they can actually help you. So you'd select one and then just sit back, track the pickup, and at the end, when you can confirm that you've been helped, you pay through the app. So very simple. So I wanted to illustrate this with an example and show actually how fast it can happen. So we have an example. This is a recent pickup done not so long ago in Berlin. So at 11:46, a person posted an ad in the app where they wanted help with recycling for 20 euros. And just within a minute, they had actually, we could see, selected a person to help them. We call them helpers, to pick this up at the nearest time slot, 12 to 14. So 11:47, already helps on the way. And nearby, another user has also created a similar ad, and the same helper actually applied for this one as well. So just a minute later, also booking that person for the same time slot. And then not long after, we could see in our app, we track everything. So we see that the pickup was complete at 13:41. And that person just drove on, obviously, to the next stop and did the second pickup, 14:01. So both things picked up. And about an hour later, we can track in our system that the recycling was verified around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we have before images of offloading and after images that so we can, and we track these all with GPS, so we can verify in a secure way that recycling has been done properly. So this is a typical experience from a user using Tiptapp. You can find help within a minute or two, and you would actually have things picked up within an hour or a few hours. So, so really, really, really fast. And this is, we even see some cases, of course, where this can happen even faster. But this is unheard of in the recycling business, where you'd have to, in most cases, wait 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, and you'd pay a lot more to get this kind of help. So the magic in this is the peer-to-peer platform. Like, we have a lot of individuals who can either, of course, use the app to get help, but they can also offer up to give help to others for an extra income. So this is a live snapshot at a given moment in a weekday in Stockholm, where we see a lot of these helpers in different places. So imagine then that a user needs someone to, as the example I showed you earlier, to have something picked up from IKEA, buy something at IKEA and deliver it into the city. You know, going to IKEA can take a lot of time for many people. So it would be a nice thing to get quick help with sometimes. And using their e-commerce, obviously, it's going to take longer. So with Tiptapp, the probability increases a lot that we would be able to find someone nearby the warehouse at the time, at the IKEA warehouse. And someone might actually also be traveling in the direction into the city for some reason, either on their own errands or they might bring other Tiptapp items. So this enables them to not have to calculate doing a round trip and spending all that time to do this, but they can do it for a much smaller fee and a lot faster, basically. And if you are turning to traditional companies, they would at all times have to optimize their own fleet of cars to calculate, to do the round trips or different optimized routes throughout the city during the day. But this is not necessary with this peer-to-peer concept. Another benefit, of course, is the fact that most people are looking to get help in weekends and evenings. And since we have this large number of users willing to sometimes chip in for this extra income to give things a ride, it's so much easier to do this matching and actually help people when they need help. And it's not only great for the fact that you can get quick help and for less money, but there are also some other obvious benefits of this concept. So we do see a lot fewer cars on the streets, on the roads, and our calculations show that for on average, though, for every at least two car rides for every ad placed in Tiptapp can be eliminated. So there will therefore be a lot less cars with this. And it truly enables also people to live their lives and actually not have to own their own car. And we also see a lot of reuse in the platform. So this increased circularity, which we think is important. So we estimate that for all the giveaway ads in the platform, about 1.4 items is actually being able to be reused, which saves a lot of CO2. And there's also a lot of items among the recycling cases where things are being reused, which is fantastic because it can happen without the middleman. Otherwise, you might bring something to the recycling center, and it ends up in the reuse section, and then it has to be distributed out to some secondhand shop or somewhere where it needs to be resold. So that can be all cut out through the Tiptapp concept. And we also make buying things secondhand a lot easier with this platform. As you saw in one of the examples I showed you, where someone needed something delivered that they bought on eBay Kleinanzeigen. Am I saying that right? That has been a very popular use. And of course, you can now with Tiptapp get almost like a same-day delivery e-commerce experience by buying secondhand and using Tiptapp. So in Sweden, this has been quite popular, and we have actually partnered up with the leading classifieds player in Sweden called Blocket, where users now, when they browse through items, actually have an easy way to initiate and get help with delivery through Tiptapp. So by reducing the dependency on car ownership and reducing the number of cars on the road, and also increasing the circularity through reuse and recycling, we see that we can really make a difference. There's been about 800,000 deliveries and pickups, and we estimate that the CO2 savings from that is equivalent to 3,900 transatlantic return flights, round trip flights, basically. When things like this happen on a scale, we as a platform obviously also need to take some responsibility. So we need to know who these users are and that they're basically not becoming professionals, because then that would require some licenses, and we want to be more concerned about working conditions, etc. So this is a platform where people can make this as an extra income, and we obviously help track that and make sure that that is the case. We also offer up insurances for individuals, but also for all the items you try to move through the platform to make that easier if something does happen. And we have a quite sophisticated process of making sure that recycling is done in the right way by having these images being registered before and after loading on the recycling center, and also registering the GPS coordinates for users are moving around. So it's still early stage for us as a company, but we've been really successful so far in Stockholm and also in some other Swedish cities. We are now, since our launch in 2016, also present in London and Portugal and Lisbon. And since, as I mentioned in the introduction, also in Berlin since the spring. And we're super proud as well to be able to announce that we are now collaborating with Berlin City through their city-owned waste management company, BSR, that we launched in August this year. And also very proud to see that we are going to move on to more cities in Germany. So next up, I'd be happy to announce today that we will be getting started in both Munich and Hamburg in a very near future. So looking forward to that. So this is the quick story of Tiptapp and the example I wanted to share with you on how we see that the collaborative economy can actually make a really positive and drive a positive impact in cities. I also do believe that there are many more things or resources that could be shared much smarter through technology. So hopefully I have inspired someone maybe listening today on how they can apply this in a similar way and use this thinking to make an innovation in another area. Because I firmly believe that this collaborative concept actually can really help drive a smarter use of this kind of resources and therefore be really sustainable and help make our cities more sustainable and societies more sustainable. So with that, thank you for giving me time to present, and I think we will have time for questions.
Thank you very much, Tim. This was an inspiring insight in your initiative and in your app. And so next stop will be after Stockholm, London, Lisbon, Berlin, August will be Munich.
Oh, that's my question. Do you think there is a need for this in Munich? Because my experience is it's really well organized with the waste. You just make a call to the community and they are coming and are collecting your waste.
Yes, we do see that many houses, even though you might have this more generous service in different areas in the country, that our households might still have a struggle of kind of sometimes move things out of the home. I mean, if you're a single household, just carrying a big piece of furniture out on the street might be a struggle itself. But sometimes it's more urgent than that as well. So just the convenience of actually having it done faster and cheaper than what the city can offer could actually be quite appealing to many households when it comes to that.
So looking at let's say the impact on the climate. So there's 4 points I've actually basically noted. There's less cars, there's more reuse, buying used stuff is easier, and you actually promote e-commerce experience with same-day deliveries. Does that same-day delivery thing actually work with these other, let's say, sustainability goals in terms of less cars, more reviews, easier access to used items?
Yeah, so an important part of this is actually trying to optimize ride sharing at all times. So that's why this having as many users as possible be able to chip in and help out. And it could be anyone from just really going in one direction at that time to actually someone else wanting to earn some extra income over a few hours who, take their larger van and help out with that. So by using that van or that person who has that extra time and that capacity at the moment to be able to help out is also a win in our opinion. So we definitely do see that as long as it can be fairly sufficient in the ride sharing effect of the platform and that we can use whatever resources is already out there, it's an important part of that.
I definitely get the point and get all these advantages. I was just a little, let's say, concerned about the urge that people that buy used stuff needed same day delivery as they would basically accept it or expect it from a company like the big players in e-commerce. Because I think these kind of people sharing, let's say, used stuff are basically more into the slow movement in terms of moving goods around.
Yes, so I agree that they probably will not pay a premium to get it quicker, but that's just a very good effect without having to pay that premium with this concept, basically.
So would you see, because you outlined earlier that your background is in IT, so would you consider yourself more of a logistics recycling company or an IT company, because there's a lot of, let's say, data in the background that's flowing back and forth?
So yeah, that's a good question. I think we do consider ourselves more of an IT. That's where we have our expertise, and obviously trying to make the user experience as good as possible. But obviously we need to learn a lot about how logistics works and what the competition is doing, and really understanding the effectiveness of the platform from a logistical perspective. So yes, we are learning a lot.
And of course you need IT to scale.
Yes, we do.
So, any more questions?
No. Not from me.
Of course, I have a couple of questions. So you started in 2016. I remember there was this buzzword around back at that time, shared economy. You remember this phrase actually? So, and is it a coincidence that you started this venture in this specific time, or is it just because many of these platforms that were launched back then are basically gone? So is there a connection towards that trend that so many sharing platforms launched at that time?
As I said, I think many were inspired by the few really successful platforms that we've seen over the years. And I think, it probably was a trend where people were more aware, and it's a natural way when you see someone leading with a good example that you would look what other kind of businesses we use this thinking and this model in. But then, of course, it doesn't always work out, and it doesn't make sense in every niche or different kind of situation. So I think it's a natural way of things to let a few companies not really be successful. And I think also another part of this is that it is we've seen many companies trying to be a sharing economy platform, but basically they're more of the gig economy style, where instead of having their own staff, they're basically contracting a lot of people to do their work for them, but still deciding around pricing, how work conditions will be, and how, all these aspects. And I think that's where we are different, and it is a lot more challenging to go the path that we've taken, where you deal with lots of people who you just through technology need somehow to make to be able to transact together in a good way.
Talking about your partners, you mentioned eBay Kleinanzeigen. So are you actually working with them in the German market and in these projects you're launching in Germany?
No, we would hope to actually talk to them, and it would be great to do something similar like we do with Blocket in Sweden.
I hope they're watching. I hope they're watching. In Munich, so we are very proud that we have an exclusive announcement by the Tiptapp community. Munich will be next.
Yeah, okay.
So do you see a market outside of Europe for this?
Potentially, yes. I mean these kind of needs that we kind of can help out with this platform are generic for many cities, and there might be different maturity in terms of how payments can be done and how digital savvy different parts of the world are. But we do see that this smartness and ride sharing can be done in many cities around the world. So we definitely do hope to take this far outside of Europe as well.
Okay, very interesting to hear. Martin, last question?
Nope.
No?
Huh?
Okay, so you'll be one of the first users
certified.
and you're signing up for the...
No, I have no need for this. I have a neighbor with a trailer and a hinge. That's no problem for me.
So maybe he will be joining Tiptapp and he will start charging you.
Yeah, maybe
on the other side.
That's a good business model for your neighbor. Okay, so users. Let's talk about user base. I can't recall, to be honest, if you did share any numbers. Is there a specific? Let's say you started in Stockholm. You're based in Stockholm, so you started there. Yes. So basically, your main fan base and your user base is there. Just give us an insight of the use and the user base in the city of Stockholm.
So basically, in Stockholm, around 1 in 10 households are using us.
Wow.
On and off, yes. So
that's
in Stockholm,
amazing.
we've grown quite far.
And I am sure there's a lot of IKEA furniture moved back and forth, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can clearly see that.
Okay. Tim, thank you so much for being with us today. Martin?
Yeah.
No more.
Nice
usually he used to complain a lot that I'll talk so much.
Okay, yeah.
So, Tim.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, and we'll have a short break. Wir machen eine kurze Pause von 2 Minuten und treffen uns dann mit dem Florian Hoffmann von Cider. Geht's auch um Circular Economy.
Cidre?
Ja? Cider. Ich glaube Cider. Cider ist. Aber er wird uns gleich aufklären. Also 2 Minuten Pause. Bis gleich.
Servus.